Colorado sports fans come together. Happy to introduce our first guest tonight, Ryan Spilborghs. He had the first walk-off grand slam in the history of, who cares?
I care.
You shouldn't. You know why? This is Kavnar Tonight. Do you see the marquee? This show is about me, you meathead. Hashtag blessed.
This isn't even your studio. This is Rich Eisen's.
That had to be Kavnar Tonight.
Well, I think both of them together, that's kind of running amok in the studio.
I think Brian had a little more to do with that than he's leading on. What's the likelihood we're ever guests on Kavnar Tonight?
Well, for you, I don't think much. For me, maybe a little bit more.
A little troubled that she's a thief also. We knew she had some issues. I didn't realize that she actually was a felon. Well, we move on. The Rockies had probably their most complete victory since certainly opening day when they won 10-0 in Milwaukee. And at the center of the storm offensively, and it's great to see Carlos Gonzalez. Most guys don't come to L.A. and Dodger Stadium to get healthy offensively.
No, but he did, and that's a great sign for Rockies fans. And for somebody like Carlos Gonzalez, he has 17 home runs in his career. He ties Troy Tulowitzki for most against the Dodgers. It's just nice to see him. He's finally got his average above 200. He hit that monster bomb the other night to really win the ball game for the Rockies late in that one. And then last night, another home run to dead center field. It's the old Carlos Gonzalez swing we've been accustomed to see.
Yeah, it was great to see, and hopefully the Rockies can do something they haven't done in a couple years, win a series at Dodger Stadium, an opportunity to take 3 of 4. We're set for baseball. I have no idea if Jenny and Spilly will be joining us. They have larger projects, obviously, on their menu. It's the Rockies. The Dodgers come on back to L.A. with us. And welcome to a Sunday at Chavez Ravine, Dodger Stadium. The Rockies looking to take 3 of 4 from Los Angeles. And on a very pleasant early afternoon, we welcome you inside Dodger Stadium. Mike Bolsinger is going to take the hill for Los Angeles. Came up with the Arizona Diamondbacks a year ago. And he'll face the lineup that will feature Charlie Blackmon up top. Charlie hitting .289, 5 home runs. And he has driven in 14. Here's the rest of Walt Weiss's Southwest batting order. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Rafael Ynoa is going to give DJ LeMahieu a break today. He'll be in the 2 spot playing second base. Cargo, we talked about how he's starting to roll. Nolan Arenado, Willeen Rosario 4 and 5. Nick Hundley, Drew Stubbs in center field. Daniel Descalso again for Troy Tulowitzki. Tula was out early and sprinting, working on lateral movement, and he looked very good. Good reports from the clubhouse as well. He's available today, but they're not going to start him. Hopefully he'll be ready to go tomorrow when the Rockies open up that 4-game set at home against Philadelphia. Mike Bolsinger doesn't throw hard, but he strikes a lot of guys out.
That he does. In his 2 big league starts, he has 8 strikeouts, 4 walks, 1-0. That 1 win came against Miami in his last start. The previous one to that was on the road at San Francisco. But in both of those games, he went 5 2/3 innings, and that was when he made his Dodger debut. 15th round pick out of the University of Arkansas.
Anytime a guy in the 15th round makes it to the big leagues and has a little bit of success, it was a job well done by the scouting department. So here we go, Rockies and the Dodgers on a Sunday. And the bunt attempt by Charlie goes foul. Got the attention of Justin Turner, who's playing third this afternoon. Sun trying to break through the clouds now. It's been overcast in the early part of the day, each and every day. And of course, we had the severe rains on Thursday, which is much needed. That's a swing. That's 0-2.
But 3 or 4 days of overcast in LA.
Unusual.
Yes, it is. Just a slight breeze.
0-2 and a curveball that's way outside. It's 1-2.
Bolsinger's fastball has natural cut on it, so it comes up as a cutter when you look at the stats. It also has the overhand curveball. And you see almost a 50-50 split. I would just even disregard a changeup. I wouldn't even think about that if I was walking up to the plate and standing in the box. I got 2 pitches to think of, and that's what I'm going to try to guess along with him.
Very, very unusual to see that kind of split. He gets the strikeout to begin the ball game on Charlie. Let's give you a quick update on some of the injuries that have fallen the Rockies the last few days. Justin Morneau's on the 7-day concussion DL. Troy Tulowitzki day-to-day with the quad tightness. Didn't start yesterday. As I mentioned, is available today. Corey Dickerson's been held out with the plantar fascia, and he said he'd been feeling as good as he has felt with that foot in a while, and then when he hit the track, it did something to his foot. He stayed in defensively, but then came out the very next half inning, and Walt Weiss was honest. He said, I'm concerned. When asked, could it be a DL situation, he said, I'm not sure yet, but he hasn't ruled that out.
And they'll wait a couple more days to look at it, see if it responds. The issue that he had out on the warning track here at Dodger Stadium with the rain that they've had, it has a tendency to get real soft. And because of the softness, when he went to stop, it just, the ground gave, and that caused the stress on the foot.
Right fielder number 5.
2 outs, nobody on. Cargo will approach home plate. Left field, Alex Guerrero. Jock Peterson back in the starting lineup. He pinch hit last night. He's in center. Andre Ethier, also a pinch hitter last night. He's in right. Turner and Rollins left side. Kendrick, Adrian Gonzalez. Adrian had the day off yesterday. And Yasmani Grandal also had the day off yesterday against De La Rosa, who was brilliant for 7 1/3. And then had to come out with the groin injury. And Walt's hopeful he doesn't have to miss a start. That was one other injury note that we didn't have room for on that graphic.
Well, you're talking about Troy coming out at 10:30 this morning, doing some agility drills, taking ground balls where Keith Duggar was rolling it to him. Well, the same thing with De La Rosa. He came out and he did his running around the warning track earlier today, so that's another good sign.
1 ball, 1 strike. Bolsinger with 2 outs and nobody on, working a cargo.
Well, you and I were debating, was this a 2-iron or a 1-iron that he hit out?
Well, nobody,
I called it a 2-iron, but nobody can hit a 1-iron.
Nobody can hit a 1-iron, and very few people use either club anymore.
More of a hybrid, is that what you're saying?
Exactly. This is to Kendrick, and he'll get cargo by a step. So Bolsinger works a 1-2-3 first inning. Kyle Kendrick to the mound at Dodger Stadium when we return. Kendrick has the baseball this afternoon for the Rockies. 241 average for Peterson, but he leads the club in home runs with 10. Here's Don Mattingly's Southwest batting order. Jimmy Rollins has had a good series. He's got the average back at the Mendoza line. Howie Kendrick has an 8-game hitting streak going. Adrian Gonzalez at 356. Then Justin Turner. Yasmani Grandal has had a huge May. Andre Ethier is in the top 10 in hitting in the National League at 326. Alex Guerrero next, and then the pitcher Mike Bolsinger. Well, Kendrick was really good in his last outing, his best outing since opening day in Milwaukee.
7 innings, 7 hits, just 2 earned runs, 5 strikeouts, 0 walks in that, 91 pitches. And Kyle just went with his fastball slider, really, or split slider, however you want to describe it. He stayed away from that cut fastball for most of the night against the Angels.
Well, he's got to hit his spots. We often talk about that. Good movement on that sinker, but it's out of the zone. That's the work against the Angels on Tuesday. Rockies had an opportunity to win both of those games against the Angels. Unfortunately, they did not. And they've come to L.A. and won 2 of 3 so far, 2-0. In fact, the Dodgers, who are 16-5 at home, have lost 3 of their last 4 home games. The Marlins beat them on getaway day before the Rockies arrived. Center field, pretty well hit, but Drew Stubbs is right there, 1 out. Here are the gloves for the Rockies. Charlie Blackmon, so versatile in the outfield. He'll be in left field. Drew Stubbs, an outstanding center fielder. Cargo's got gold gloves in right. Nolan Arenado, Daniel Descalso, Rafael Inoa, and Willeen Rosario in the infield with Nick Hundley batting behind the plate. Nick was off yesterday as Mike McHenry did a real fine job behind the dish.
Well, both managers played it the same way. They gave their starting catcher the Saturday night off and playing him on the Sunday day game.
Yeah, and usually it works the other way around. In the case of Don Mattingly, he has the bonus of a day off tomorrow. It's a travel day for the Dodgers. They'll head north, just a short flight up to San Francisco to take on the Giants beginning Tuesday. The Rockies will have a busy week, 8 games in 7 days. The Rockies, because of all the washouts, have played the fewest games in the National League. Most teams have played about 36. The Rockies have played 33.
And also the fewest at home. It's 13 games at Coors Field.
The Rockies have only 4 wins at home. By contrast, they have 9 out on the road. That's a swinging bunt. Kendrick gets to it quickly, sets his feet, and fires a strike to Rosario. They're 2 outs.
Well, I like what Kyle did. He immediately called off Nick Hundley. He puts his hand up as he's going to the plate. Watch this, folks. He goes to the plate saying, I've got it, and then he barehands it, steps and throws. Make sure you look that ball into your glove like or into your hand, your glove, it doesn't matter. But any infielder will tell you, don't start peeking where that bag is going because it's staying in one spot. That's why they anchor it in the ground.
That's such a wonderful point. It does not move, does it?
No, it doesn't. But how many times do we like to pick our head up and look for that? It's not like a video game where they're going to change the bag where it goes.
It's anchored. Float around.
It's anchored right there. They put those pegs in the base and then in the ground.
1-0 on Kendrick, and that's outside. 2-0. Howie's hitting 8 straight. That's a little below the knees, so it's 3-0. Marty Foster's behind home plate. Mike Malinsky at first, Mike Winters at second, and Mark Wegner's at third. That's our umpiring crew. So 3-1 on Kendrick, 2 outs and nobody on. Watch this lined into the seats foul.
It's so hard, it went off the concrete in the stands and back onto the field.
The whole repertoire. Didn't want the fastball in or away. Didn't want the curveball. Didn't want the changeup. No.
Let's see if he wants to cut fastball. We went back to the original pitch that Nick had flashed down.
And a little bit high with the fastball, so a walk. That's unusual for Kyle. He hasn't walked anybody the last couple of starts. That'll bring up Adrian Gonzalez.
He's only walked 2 guys in his last 4 starts.
Gonzalez 7 for 15 lifetime with 4 doubles against Kendrick. Noah's on the outfield grass playing second, and that's a strike. Descalso playing short is virtually up the middle.
We've seen it played 2 different ways. This way, we've also seen the shortstop over onto the second base side.
I have a question for you. I just thought of. Does this constitute a shift or no? Because Descalso's theoretically on the shortstop side of the bag.
I don't think it does because, as you say, he's not on the second base side.
Yeah.
So it's not a shift. This is kind of the old school version of a shift. And back when I was breaking in and playing, if you had the big bopper hitting from the left side, the second baseman would move over and you'd move up the middle. But you would. I can count you know, on a couple hands, my two hands, how many times I was on the second base side as a shortstop.
Here's the 0-2. And that's high, 1-2. The Rockies right now are 6th in shifts in the big leagues. They keep moving up. Remember, early on, the first couple weeks, they're sitting around 11th and slowly have climbed into the top half dozen. Tampa way out in front of everybody.
And last year was the Astros that were way out in front of everybody.
Well, they're still up there. The Dodgers, we showed you yesterday, they shift to about 22nd in baseball. One, two, and that was line to left and deep, and foul.
Thought it was going to curve around the pole.
Dodger Stadium's a symmetrical ballpark, and right down the line, it's only 330 feet, and it's a very small wall. It's about 4 feet high. You've seen through the years a lot of balls sneak out over that wall right down either line. That almost occurred there. 400 straight away. This ballpark, a product of the basically the 60s, when ballparks were symmetrical and multi-purpose. I'm glad, though this place has stood the test of time, but I'm glad we've moved away from that.
Yes.
Some of the unique ballparks that have come to be over the last 20 years have, I think, really been nice for the fans, and I think the players enjoy it too.
That's what makes baseball unique in that regard. I mean, there's certain dimensions that you have to have. It has to be so far from home plate, the outfield walls. It's not like the old Ebbets Field where, in the 200s down the line, but the uniqueness, how you build it and how it fits into your community.
Sure, and then you think about AT&T Park, it's 309 down the right field line, and then it moves out dramatically, and you have Triples Alley where it's about 5 miles. Another 1-2. 2-2.
I'm also glad they got away from sharing those stadiums, like the Vet in Philadelphia. They still do it up in Oakland. The Vet, Three River Stadium.
Well, again, those were the multi-purpose stadiums of the 60s. And it's way inside, 3-2. So Kendrick will be off. The guy who leads baseball in doubles with 17.
Also second in average at 356.
He's getting good swings at Kendrick right now.
Because he has such plate coverage. He can take a pitch that is off the plate away and foul it back, or he can hit it in the left center field. 10th pitch of this at bat coming up for Adrian Gonzalez. You also don't want to miss in to Gonzo. One of the highest averages inside. And you can tell from the forward strike zone that's what they're trying to avoid.
Here's the 10th pitch of the AB, and it was launched to deep center field. Stubbs looks like he has a play, and he does. Right up against the wall. So Kendrick left at first. We'll go to the second. No score. Colorado Rockies baseball brought to you by your hometown Toyota stores. Let's Go Places. By Coors Banquet Beer, brewed in Golden, Colorado since 1873. By Jack in the Box. Jack's hottest sandwich is back. Head to Jack in the Box for Jack's Blazing Chicken Sandwich. And by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. We go to the second inning. Nolan Arenado steps in. And that pitch is high from Mike Bolsinger. Rockies did see Bolsinger last year when he pitched for Arizona, and they swung the bat well against him. 9 hits in 5 innings. So there's a degree of familiarity.
And that helps instead of just watching on video.
Nolan lines it down the line, just foul. Well, he went down and got one last night, his first career Dodger Stadium home run.
Well, you know the family was jumping for joy when this went out. It was a slider. Never got about more than 25 feet off the ground, and it just took off, went over the wall, and a little extra insurance runs.
It was a 1-0 game after Greinke left, and the Rockies got after that Dodger bullpen and ended up winning 7-1. Let me correct that. That was his second Dodger Stadium home run. That's a bounce to the third. Turner throws out. Nolan, one gone.
First baseman number 20, William Rosario.
Willeen Rosario will come up. Willeen's been swinging it well. Last night, 2 for 4.
We talk about early work. Willeen was out with Stu Cole this morning about 11 o'clock. Just working on some footwork.
This ball's well hit to right field. Ethier is going to have some room in front of the track. 2 gone. Nick Hundley will be next. Rockies fans, you can join the conversation. We tell you every day and evening. Send us your pictures, thoughts, and you can do it via Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. All you have to do is use the hashtag Toyota Talk. Some of the things that are floating around the Twitter universe right now. The Marlins, after the ball game today, dismissed Mike Redmond. They nearly got no hit by Shelby Miller of Atlanta, the former Cardinal. 2 outs in the 9th inning, and Justin Bour, their first baseman, singled cleanly up the middle to avert being no hit. But after the ball game, Mike Redmond was dismissed as the Marlins manager. They spent a lot of money, as we all know, in the offseason securing Giancarlo Stanton, and they have very high hopes, and they're not pleased with where they are right now, evidently, and Mike Redmond was dismissed. And
also their bench coach, as we saw on that tweet, Rob Leary, who'd been with the Marlins organization for a number of years. I played with Rob in the Expo system. Former catcher. Also had been with Boston in their minor leagues. So they're going to announce a manager tomorrow.
Well, 2 managers have already been let go. Ron Renicky, Milwaukee, getting off to that poor start, was dismissed a week or so ago. Three balls and a strike on Hundley. And ball 4. So Nick draws a 2-out walk, and that's the first base runner for the Rockies.
Center fielder number 13, Drew Stubbs.
Drew Stubbs will take his turn. Stubbs did not face Bolsinger last year when the Rockies saw Bolsinger when he was with Arizona. Bolsinger came from Arizona in a trade during the offseason, swung on and missed.
Bolsinger picked up his first big league victory Against the Cubs at Wrigley Field last year in April.
Got his first big league start for Arizona here at Dodger Stadium.
So on this road trip, we've had a guy that was drafted in the 15th round, and also was it the 30th round for?
30th round's absolutely right. 30th round was where Hector Santiago was drafted, Jersey kid. Pitching for the Angels, 1-2 on Stubbs. Alex Guerrero really deep in left field. And that was right there, strike 3 on Stubbs. So Huntley left at first base, middle of 2, no score at Dodger Stadium.
The lineup, he's got the plantar fasciitis. Walt Weiss was asked if this is a DL situation for Dickerson.
Not today. It's not a move we're gonna do now. We're gonna see how it plays out for a couple days. But it's concerning because we know the nature of that injury. It's a tough injury and it doesn't go away. He's been dealing with it, and Doogie and the staff have managed it very well. But he's sore today.
Drew, as you said, there's some concern for Walt Weiss, and I looked at the numbers for Corey Dickerson. You know, he hasn't hit a home run since April 23rd, and in the month of May, he's hitting .273 with 9 hits, only a couple extra base hits and 1 RBI, so it's probably affecting him more than maybe he's even leading on.
It's a debilitating injury, and Walt knows it well. Walt actually never dealt with it during his playing career, but he's been dealing with it over the last year and a half, and it snapped on him during spring training. And then it's sore for a while and then actually feels better. And Spilly said the same thing. Spilly had it during his playing career, and it actually got better when it finally, I hope I'm using the right medical term, broke, snapped, whatever, but...
Well, you know what it reminds me of? Remember when Elway was dealing with it when he was quarterback for the Broncos with his bicep tendon?
Sure.
And it hurt until it snapped or popped or whatever he does or did to it, and then he said it felt better. So who knows? I mean,
and they're not even sure last night if maybe that did occur with Dickerson, and then you'll be sore for a few days, and then you feel a whole lot better. So they're going to monitor it on a daily basis, and hopefully he will avoid having to go on the disabled list. 1-2 on Justin Turner. Turner leading off here in the second, scoreless game, and that's going to be a base hit to left. With every challenge call, the Subaru Eyesight Review will determine the outcome. Love, it's what makes a Subaru a Subaru. So here's Yasmani Grandal, who's enjoying a great month of May. Grandal hitting .447 in May, which is third best in baseball. Jason Kipnis is on another planet. He's hitting .517 for Cleveland. And another second baseman, who the Dodgers know well, is having a May that backs up the great April he had, and that's D. Gordon. D. Gordon's hitting .453.
That's what I'm saying. He's going to try to hit 400 for the year?
Shoot, he may be trying to hit .450.
Well, he'll find his watermark.
Well, the thing about Gordon, he's figured it out offensively, and he'll avoid any kind of big slumps, Jeff, just because of the foot speed.
Well, he can lay down bunts and do it with 2 strikes. So those will keep you out of those 0 for 12s, 0 for 15s. Little line speed never takes a day off.
Especially his kind of speed. 2 strikes on Grandal. Kendrick's got to be a surgeon out on the mound. Doesn't have overwhelming stuff.
And he can't become predictable. What pitches he's going to throw ahead in the count or behind, or if it's going to be just outside or inside. He's got to use the top of the zone, the bottom of the zone, inside, out, and really mix up the velocity. Presets the split finger behind his back because it's easier to transition to just a 2-seam fastball from that grip than vice versa.
And you see what he's doing in the glove, and it moves the glove, and that's why it's so important, Jeff. I mean, you guys in the dugout study pitchers and tendencies. If you do that to set the split or any other pitch, you have to do it on every pitch. Otherwise, you're giving something away.
Remember Ryan Dempster used to shake his glove?
Yep.
And that was his way of signaling. I'm not showing you what I'm doing because I do it every time.
Every time. You know, at a younger age, you see the kids dig harder in the glove, and you know here comes the off-speed pitch. Runner going, and it's fouled off. Turner will have to hit the deck and come on back.
This is the arsenal for Kyle Kendrick. The cutter number are going down. He's not throwing as many in the last start. Haven't seen as much today. And the split finger, we already showed you how he presets that in his hand. And when he does that, he gets more of the tumble down and also some side action. It does make it difficult, though, if you're presetting with the forkball to then throw to a base. I remember playing behind Nolan, and he would always tell me, now, if you see a changeup grip, don't ask for a pickoff, because I can't get from that to throw you a good ball on a pickoff if you see it.
Interesting. This is popped up shallow center field. Stubbs will wander in and make the catch. 1 out. Grandal's retired, and that'll bring up Andre Ethier.
Right fielder,
For Nolan, it
number
was a
16,
circle change, so he really had it off to the side of his hand.
Ethier hitting .348 in the month of May. Pretty good slash line for Andre this year. Puig and Crawford remain out for the Dodgers, and they're going to be out for an extended period.
by slash line, you mean the average, the on-base percentage up to the slugging.
Yep.
So the 3s to the 4s to the 5s.
You can also derive very quickly the OPS out of that by looking at the on-base and slugging percentage. Runner going, swung on a miss. Nick, a good throw. Out at second base.
There's only 2 outs.
Yeah. Nick wanted the whole inning to be over right there. That or he's going to run and get a high five from the skipper. And he realized, oops.
But after you make a throw like that, you can be excited. 7 for 25, throwing out would-be base stealers. And nails Justin Turner. They might take a look at this one. They're still waiting. Instead of having the manager come out and do the dance like they did last year, they just wait for him to signal from the dugout.
Well, you know what? Don got the word. He wants a review. So Mike Winters is the crew chief. He comes in from second.
They have the 2 umpires. It's always the crew chief and the guy that made the call. In this instance, it's Mike Winters as both, but they'll have somebody else to come in with him to listen to the call.
That's like the coin flip in case it's interpreted wrong. Out. I have safe. What did you have? Well, it's time for a Subaru review. Whether you're on the road or at the game, everybody could use a second set of eyes.
One look. From this angle, it's tough to tell. Did he get him on the elbow or was it on the hip?
This would be a good angle. I don't think you can overturn it based on that angle.
Yeah, we've seen 2 or 3 instances where that has been the case.
That one looks more favorable for the Dodgers. Is it the hand of the bag or the foot? That one you can't tell.
I think the hand to the bag. And if Daniel would have kept his foot in front of the bag, he had it there, and then he moved it 6 inches, then Justin Turner's hand would have slid into it.
Good.
Doesn't matter.
They don't overturn it, and Nick Hundley throws out Justin Turner for the second out of the inning.
Yeah, throw him out. Nick, 2 outs. We've all done that.
1-1 on Ethier. Good changeup. Out Ethier. So a leadoff single by Turner, and the combination of Kendrick and Hundley take care of Turner. We'll go to the 3rd, scoreless in LA. Descalso, who has hit his stride offensively the last couple of days. He'll lead things off. Then Kendrick and Charlie Blackmon against Bolsinger. Time now for the Coors timeless moment. Giancarlo Stanton hits a home run out of Dodger Stadium off Mike Bolsinger. It was the only run for Miami as the Dodgers rolled 11-1 that day. Bolsinger got his second career victory. But that was an impressive home run by a guy who hits a lot of impressive home runs.
Well, two things. Bolsinger could say, that's great. I'd rather have that than a wall scraper, just going on the other side. But you and I are on the bus today coming in, and we kind of drive by that area. We both commented and looking to see where those palm trees were, just how far and incredible that shot was.
We all needed helmets on in the bus had Stanton been up. I remember growing up as a Mets fan in New York, and beyond the bullpen at Shea Stadium was where, in left field, was where the visiting team bus parked oftentimes, 2 and 2. And Nate Colbert, remember Nate Colbert with San Diego?
Yes.
He hit a ball over the bullpen, and as the story goes, it broke a window in the team bus in the seat he was sitting in when they came to the ballpark that morning. I don't know if that was added for effect, but
one of those urban legends.
I do know this much. He hit it over the bullpen. It broke a window on the team bus. Nate Colbert could hit him far, too.
Yes, he could.
3-2 on Descalso, and that's a base hit for Daniel. In fact, he may have an opportunity to go for 2. Good job by Ethier. Ethier is a really solid outfielder.
And if he doesn't cut that off, Daniel could go for second, because Jock Peterson, being left-handed, would have a harder throw. He had multi-hit games in the last 2 days as Daniel's starting to see that bat come alive. But he's also getting more reps. It's like spring training. You know, you get all those reps in spring training. You're seeing the ball. Everything's going along well because you're piling up at bats.
He's 5 for his last 8, including a home run and a bases clearing double. So it's good to see Daniel doing his thing. Saw it from afar with the Cardinals for several years. Kyle Kendrick will try to move him along.
So already presets when the pitcher comes set. He'll put the bat out in front of home plate. He wants to bunt it towards first, or they're going to slash it.
Yep, and with the runner going, Descalso is going to be out by about 5 feet.
Well, that's not Daniel's fault. That's a design play. Kyle's got to put that ball in play. That's why you do it. It acts like a hit and run, but Grandal easily throws out Daniel. The last thing you want to do with the slasher hit and runs get picked off, so you wait that extra half beat.
That's a fair ball. Grandal will throw. Oh, throws it into the stands. And Kendrick will end up at second base.
Remember last night? We were
out. They're saying he was. Yep, they're saying he was not in the 45-foot running lane. Once you get halfway there, that's why there's 2 lines.
Until you're a stride away from the bag. And so we're gonna take a peek at this. Yeah, he was inside, and you do have to be outside on the 45-foot line. So he's inside. Yeah, that's the right call. I mean, the last foot or your last stride before you get to first, then you can be on the line, but he was still inside the foul line.
Number 19, Charlie Blackmon.
That inhibits the ability of the catcher to make the throw. And the home plate umpire, that's his call. Marty Foster he immediately signaled interference.
So 2 outs, and Blackmon will come up. Charlie struck out swinging against Bolsinger, leading off the ball game. And there's that curveball for a strike.
Now we'll go down as a 2-3. for Kyle Kendrick.
The curveball's in there, 1-2. Bolsinger, when he was called up to the big leagues this year, pitching very well in the Pacific Coast League. In his final couple of weeks, the league was hitting .088 against him, and he has struck out Blackman twice. The Rockies got their first hit, but Descalso was erased. Middle of 3, no score.
Catch every single weekday at 10 a.m. Mountain, right here on Root Sports. Now let's get you back out to Chavez Ravine, Dodger Stadium, where Drew Goodman and Jeff Hewson have the call. Gentlemen?
Rich, thanks once again, and a big thank you in all sincerity to Rich and his staff for foolishly allowing Jenny and Spilly to have a run of the place the other day. I don't know if they're going to be invited back.
No, I just hope they gave him his wallet back, but more importantly, his Joe Namath.
His Joe Namath picture back.
Picture back.
Very special to Rich. Hey, you can catch Rich every morning. This ball's well hit the sun to center. Every morning on Root Sports at 10 a.m. And it's a fun show. It really is. And Rich does an outstanding job on that show, and of course on the NFL Network. So big thanks to Rich Eisen and the folks on his staff.
Yeah, no, Jenny and Spilly had just a blast doing that, so they couldn't have been nicer.
Spilly was so excited about his performance, he was looking to see if he'd get a SAG card. Bolsinger hits a Descalso, and that's 2 outs.
You were saying something about the walk-off on Hollywood Boulevard.
Think he's going to get a star already?
He thought he was. I had to tell him no.
Not yet. A little premature.
Little early.
Two-got Jock Peterson coming up.
But I do think Jenny wanted her own show. I think
that's legitimate.
Yes.
1925, Tris Speaker becomes the 5th member of the 3,000 hit club. Who knew?
He was a Hall of Famer. Didn't know he was the 5th at the time.
Anytime we talk about the 3,000 hit club, I always laugh because it reminds me of when Tulo first came up to the big leagues. And Craig Biggio, in a game we did, produced his 3,000th hit. You were there. And Tulo saying, wow, 3,000 hits. He said, I bet you I have that many my whole career. And so they went back. You know how guys are in the clubhouse. They went back to T-ball, and they gave him a certain number of hits every year through Little League, and they came up with like 2,100 hits, and they put that in big numbers above his locker. And every day he got a hit, they'd add one. 4-pitch inning. That's pretty good. Bolsinger has been good. Two finesse type of pitchers. It's turned into a very pleasant day at Dodger Stadium. Who wants tacos? If the Rockies score 7 or more, as they did last night, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day between 4 and 6 to get your Rockies taco special. Live Moss at Taco Bell. Take advantage of that back home in 55 minutes, basically. Rafael Inoa, Carlos Gonzalez, and Nolan Arenado. Second look at Mike Bolsinger. And that curveball a tad bit high. See the reaction of Bolsinger?
Yes. Wait a second. What was that? Oh, Rafi comes back last night, had a pinch hit double in the 9th inning. Good to see from Rafi.
Had the feel of that curveball. Much better result, 1-1.
You can see why Rafi took that one. Look, just above the zone.
3 straight curveballs. It's still amazing to me. A guy who throws a curveball. It's one thing if it, slider was up there in percentage. He throws his curveball half the time. And this ball is on the ground to short. Jimmy Rollins, who has the second highest fielding percentage among active shortstops, completes the play. 1 out, and that'll bring up Cargo.
Number 5.
Well, and for Bolsinger, his fastball averages 86 miles an hour. So if you're scouting him, if you're sitting out at a college game looking at this guy, you say, oh, I'm not sure his fastball is going to play.
Well, that's why he went in the 15th round.
Exactly.
Not the first couple rounds,
exactly,
right?
But sometimes they can't measure what's inside the body and the heart somebody has.
That's a strike on Cargo. Bolsinger, a 27-year-old out of McKinney, Texas.
Suburb of the Dallas area.
And Cargo hits it to Kendrick for the second time. 2 outs.
Number 28, Nolan Arenado.
North of downtown. McKinney, correct?
Yes.
Bolsinger is one of those interesting guys that, he played at Arkansas. He was drafted in the 33rd round his junior year by the A's. Didn't sign and was a senior sign, which for 4-year players I mean, it happens quite a bit. You don't have nearly the leverage, especially if you're on the higher end of the draft in your junior year. You don't have as much leverage your senior year.
But you can see why he went back 33rd rounds, not much leverage for your junior year.
Yep. It's like several other guys who don't throw hard that work up in the zone with success. Chris Young's probably the most notable, but Josh Comenter, a guy we see quite a bit with Arizona, not a hard thrower, works up in the zone, and that's what Bolsinger has done so far. Maybe he learned a little bit playing with Comenter last year. That hits Arenado, so Nolan will go to first with 2 outs.
If you're going to get hit,
Number 20,
get hit with the 79-mile-an-hour curveball and do it on your backside. This is the best possible outcome for a hit by pitch.
I think that was accurately described. Willian Rosario hit the ball to deep right. And this is a pop-up in the infield. Kendrick and Rollins. Rollins calls off Howie. And Jimmy had to reach behind his head to make the catch. And the Rockies are done in the 4th inning. Still scoreless.
Scoreless in Los Angeles. There's Eric Young. Yesterday was Old Timers Day here at Dodger Stadium, and EY got a chance to catch up with Maury Wills. I asked him what they were talking about, and he said, Maury Wills said, "Are you teaching them how to steal bases?" Because Maury Wills stole 586 in his career, 20th all time. EY's got 465. The guy coming up, Jimmy Rollins, has 456. And Maury Wills told me a story, Drew and Jeff, yesterday, that when he got called up in 1959 after 8 years in the minors, he was with Spokane, which was the AAA affiliate of the Dodgers. He said the night before he went 3 for 4, stole some bags, scored some runs, and he said whenever you do that, you get a newspaper the next morning. But his manager said you're going up to the big leagues, and he said he walked through the hotel at 7 in the morning for his flight, saw that paper, and picked it up, and he read in the paper that Ty Cobb said in 1959 he likes the way that guy slides, and he'll never forget that. And he was known for his base stealing and his sliding. In fact, Ty Cobb stole 90-some bases in 1915. The first guy to steal 100 after 1900 was Maury Wills in 1962. So EY said that's his teacher.
Stole 104. Jimmy Rollins pops up a 1-1 pitch. Descalso makes the catch. Single season all-time steals. Ricky Henderson, #1, back in '82. He stole $130. Lou Brock, 118. Vince Coleman, twice more than 109. He also stole 107. Maury Wills had the standard for years and years at 104. The wear and tear, and Jeff, you stole some bases. The wear and tear on the body to steal anywhere close to that figure is enormous.
It is, because I think back to Double-A. For me, I stole 56 bases in Double-A one year, and to then double that, I remember how sore I was after a game or at the end of the season. And these guys, you're talking about 100, but I know just playing against Ricky and playing against Vince Coleman, that those guys within a stride were at their max speed. It was just phenomenal how quickly they could get accelerated and go from point A to point B.
There's a guy in the game right now that could steal 100 bases, and that's Cincinnati's Billy Hamilton.
Yes.
Did it in the minor leagues. 2 strikes on Kendrick. And this is on the ground at Descalso. And Daniel throws out Kendrick.
Well, you want to get ready for the first fireworks show of the year on Friday, May 22nd. It's sponsored by Lockheed Martin. All on hand will receive a handheld U.S. flag. Tickets are going quickly, so get yours today at any Rockies ticket outlet, including Rockies.com.
Adrian Gonzalez hit a deep fly ball to Stubbs in center field after a lengthy at bat, a 10-pitch at bat. Rockies have won 2 of the first 3 of this series, so they obviously can do no worse than a split of this 4-game set, and that ends a run by the Dodgers. Here's a base hit. The Dodgers had won 10 consecutive home series.
And that had been the longest in LA history and 3rd longest in club history.
Going back to the Brooklyn days. Justin Turner singled his initial at bat. He's up with 2 outs and Adrian at first. Misses, ball 1. And that misses also. 2-0 on Turner, California kid. Star at Cal State Fullerton. Remember their 04 national championship team, in fact. I hope Carlos Gomez is okay. He's had a rough beginning of the season. He's already been on the disabled list once.
A couple guys. Gene Segura was hit in the head a couple times.
3-0 on Turner.
Bench coach Tim Wallach also went to Cal State Fullerton.
Good program. Phil Nevin went to Fullerton too, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
He's managing now in the Padres chain, I believe.
AAA.
And that's inside. So after the single by Gonzalez, Kendrick walks Turner. 2nd walk he's allowed. And for the first time in the game, somebody's standing on 2nd base for either team. he's managing the D-backs organization. He's managing Reno. That's Phil Nevin. Goes back to his relationship with Kevin Towers. Who's obviously no longer the general manager of Arizona, but when Phil Nevin was put in place, Kevin Towers was in charge.
He was also managing in the Tiger system before that. Those guys, I'm a little surprised that he's kind of stuck it out. But good for him. I mean, everybody.
And I think you say that because he made a lot of money in the game.
Yeah, he made a lot of money in the game, and you know, people always just say, well, why doesn't this guy coach, or why doesn't he do this? They've made so much money they don't need to, first of all. They said, no, I don't want that. And the hours that the coaches and managers put in, it's a long day, and it's something that players don't understand how many hours they put in relative to a player.
1-1 on Grandal, and that misses 2-1. We see it in the hotel every day when coaching staff gathers somewhere around noon to head over to the ballpark. And the players aren't that far behind, especially the guys who go early. Sometimes they'll get there 1:30. Nolan Arenado likes to get there early. Tulowitzki gets there early. By the time you leave, sometimes it's 11 o'clock or so at night. 2-1. Good pitch. It's full on for 8 months.
It starts about in earnest, the middle of February. A lot of planning on before that, though.
Two on, 2 outs, 2-2 on Grandal, and Kendrick comes in. Misses, so it's 3-2. And now Gonzalez and Turner will get a head start on the base pass. This guy's been a tough out, especially this month, Yasmani Grandal. Overall hitting just under 300.
Turner getting a big lead at first base. So anything in the gap. Chance for Justin to try to score.
You worry less about the back pick with a left-handed bat up and when you were the trail runner?
Yes. Yeah, if a right-hander, but now left-hander.
So here we go, 3-2 on Grandal in a scoreless game. And it's hit sharply underneath Noah. 1 run will score. And going to third is Turner on the base hit by Grandal.
And if the runners hadn't have been running, Raffy catches this ball. We're going to freeze it when the runner's right in front of Noah as he's running on the 3-2 pitch. He blocks his view. He didn't see that last hop, and that's why he misjudged it. Justin Turner has to jump out of the way right now. Look at that. You have the runner crossing in front of you. The ball's hit. You don't have the same reaction time. Did you see Raffy freeze for a moment before he dove for that ball? That's why he missed it.
Yeah, clearly didn't see it. First and third, Ethier at the plate. 2 outs, nobody on. Gonzalez singled. Turner walked. And then the base hit on a 3-2 pitch by Grandal. Hits it in the air to left center field, pretty deep. a little deeper than I think anybody thought that would travel, but it's gathered in by Blackmon. Dodgers take a 1-0 lead. Hundley will lead it off in the 5th.
All right, fans, it's time for I Wonder.
By the Ford Fusion, power you on and good looks too. Ford, go further. By Southwest Airlines, book your low fare now at southwest.com. By CenturyLink, your link to what's next. And by the University of Colorado Denver, see how CU Denver learns with purpose at learnwithpurpose.org. How many bad days in the little community of Malibu? Dodger Stadium, as we go to the 5th inning, LA with a 1-0 lead. Hundley, Stubbs, and Descalso against Mike Bolsinger. Nick walked in the 2nd inning. Rockies have had 3 base runners. They've not touched second base yet. Hundley a walk. Descalso has the only base hit. And Arenado was hit by a pitch. The entirety of the Rockies offense here as they come to the plate in the 5th inning. Last night the Dodgers were held to just 3 hits. De La Rosa gave up only 2. It was one of 3 times in Rockies history that a pitcher for the Rockies pitched 7 or more innings, did not allow a run, allowed 2 hits or less, and didn't walk a batter.
The other 2 guys, Jeff Francis did in 2006 against St. Louis. 9 innings, just the 2 hits, and then Jason Marquis here at Dodger Stadium.
That's it, just those 3 times. That's how dominant De La Rosa was last night. This is bounced up the middle with eyes, and it'll work its way through the middle of the diamond. So Hundley in a 1-0 game, a leadoff single.
Stubbs.
If the Rockies can build the equalizer here, Stubbs coming up.
You can follow live Rockies baseball in 2015 with MLB.com at bat on your phone, smartphone, or tablet, which features scores, stats, highlights, and much, much more. Download MLB.com at bat and follow the Rockies on your phone.
Stubbs struck out looking his first time. Checked his swing, no swing. Everybody who plays this game has a story about mom and or dad and the rituals they have when watching their sons perform. Well, Mike's mom can't watch him. It's way inside. In fact, when he made his debut against the Mets in New York, they were at a friend's home in Texas, and the friends went out and bought the Major League package so they could watch. And she said, I stayed in the garage the whole time.
I've heard of other parents doing that. I mean, I might get really nervous, and I might pace or fidget while I'm watching, but it's never a case where I can't watch them. I enjoy watching them. I do get nervous.
Well, Mrs. Bolsinger's also a pacer. I'm glad you used that term. Here's the 2-1 to Stubbs. That's inside.
I like to think I'm more of a fidgeter.
Well, they got to his second ball game at Dodger Stadium, or his first ball game at Dodger Stadium. So I was talking about another ball game when he was pitching and she had to stay in the garage when he got to the big leagues. Their first ball game here, she did 6 laps on the concourse. She
got a little cardio into.
She did. She said, I got a lot of exercise that day.
Well, to each his own.
Number 3, Daniel
Stubbs
Descalso.
retired, and Descalso coming up. Daniel, one of the 2 hits for the Rockies.
I was also not allowed to videotape any of the sporting events, because whether it was hockey or basketball, where I would always lose. No, I'd lose track of the action because I would have it in my camera and it'd go down to the other side, but I would take my head and just watch it.
I've done that.
Yeah.
I think every parent's done that. Also, then you think if you videotape for a while and they don't
do well, you put it away.
You put it away and say, okay, I'm not videotaping anymore.
And then they get the hit or score the goal.
And you're like, rats.
Oh, wow, why wasn't I taping?
We hope another parent has it covered, right?
A little worried about Nick at first.
Descalso bounces it through the right side. Hundley's going to go first to third. Daniel Descalso having quite a weekend here in Los Angeles, pressed into more duty with the injury to Tulowitzki, and he has responded.
And the 3rd straight ball game that he's had 2 hits. This was a chopper in front of home plate, gets by the first baseman, Adrian Gonzalez, because he was holding the runner on. And then Friday night, this big 3-run double off the wall to get the Rockies back into the ball game. And then last night, not to be outdone, again. And this was the one that was a home run, the first in over 330 at-bats. And now for Daniel, 6 for his last 8.
Well, the Dodgers will be on high alert for a squeeze of some sort. What play do you like here? Pitcher up, 1st and 3rd, 1 out, you trail by 1.
Either the safety squeeze. I like that one because that way you don't run yourself into an out. But you could also have Daniel if he wants to take off because you don't have to worry about the 3rd to 1st. Now you have a look if you're Kyle Kendrick because you saw Adrian Gonzalez break real hard. So you're going to bunt towards 3rd if you're Kyle. But at first base, Daniel has to be aware of the first baseman where he takes 2 steps in and then comes back to the bag for a pickoff.
Descalso came into this series 3 for 34 this year, no 88 average. He's got 6 hits in the series, got the batting average over 200. Kendrick takes a long look at Stu Cole. He's waiting to relay the information after receiving it from the dugout.
And just seeing where he's standing in the box, the bunt is still on. Because his left foot is almost out of the box, but he wants to create a better angle for the ball to be in fair territory. That wasn't a good at bat.
No, it wasn't a good at bat. There are 2 outs, and Blackman will come up.
Number 19, Charlie Blackman.
Well, there are 2 things you don't want to do when you're bunting. One, bunt a pitch that's not a strike.
That's the first key.
Bunt strikes, and then when you do get a strike, offer at it, and Kyle pulled the bunt back on the 0-1 pitch, and it was right there. And so that put him in a hole.
And then don't stab at it would be the last thing.
Bolsinger struck out 4, including obviously what just occurred with Kendrick. He has gotten Charlie twice. Charlie has figured Bolsinger out now. Tying run at third and Nick Hundley. Daniel Descalso is at first. Top of inning number 5.
Charlie is not happy with that call.
Understand why, looking at the 4 strike zone.
Oh, it's set up inside, and that's up and away. That was just a miss from Marty Foster. But the first 2 times Charlie has struck out, both of them have been on curveballs. Let's see if they go back to it on this pitch. This looks like what they called for.
Blackman getting into it, Foster, and he just got thrown out. Blackman so upset at the previous pitch. He just got run by Marty Foster, and that really puts the Rockies in a bind because Dickerson's foot, they only have 4 outfielders, and Dickerson's foot
probably put
well.
a no out in left field and DJ at second.
That'll be probably the way Walt will go. We'll find out when we come back. Dodgers leading 1-0. Rockies at first and third, 1 out. They do not score. And what really upset Charlie Blackmon wasn't so much the strikeout on the curveball. Obviously, that put him over the top. It was the previous pitch. It was the 1-1 pitch that became 1-2 that missed its target and, quite frankly, looked out of the zone. And instead of a 2-1 count, an offensive count, it swings heavily in favor of the pitcher.
Then it causes you to expand your zone and swing at a pitch that was 6 inches off the plate.
Now it's Guerrero at the plate, and he hits it to short. Descalso spins, fires, got his man. Daniel Descalso, a terrific defensive play.
He had the range far to his right. He dives, and his momentum caused him to have to, when he stood up, spin around. Because by the time he caught that, his glove and his body were behind where his feet were. So in order to get up quickly and just carry on that momentum, you spin, you make the throw.
Strike on Bolsinger. So here's what the Rockies have done defensively, just as Huey suggested they would. Really, their only option. Ynoa goes to the outfield, and LeMahieu comes in at second base. And Dickerson not available.
DJ trying to shake the arm awake. And here it comes. And here's the pitch that Charlie was upset at. I mean, that's not even close from where the catcher set up. It was off the forward strike zone, and then he swings at this pitch, upset, and he's walking away. And what got him is when he turned around. If he would have just kept walking, Marty Foster wouldn't have thrown him out. But I understand the frustration level on Charlie. You've struck out 3 times. You thought it was a questionable call. Instead of being 2-1, it's 1-2. You're hot under the collar. But it does put you in a bind because Troy was only available in like an emergency or a game-winning situation. And then your only other person is Michael McHenry because Corey's dealing with his foot.
Again, the Rockies have the extra pitcher, so they only have 4 position players. And the only guy in quotations healthy is the backup catcher, Mike McHenry, you mentioned. Peterson's 0 for 2, fly ball to center field, and a ground ball to Rosario. Here's the 0-1. And another ground ball to Willeen. He's got it, puts his hand up, and that's a good inning for Kyle Kendrick. 1 run in this ballgame, that's all. A 2-out run in the 4th inning for Los Angeles. We're off to the 6th inning. Ynoa will lead it off. recap, the pitching's been outstanding. Just 3 hits apiece as Mike Bolsinger has been very good for the Dodgers and Kyle Kendrick's been very good for the Rockies. Charlie Blackmon was just ejected, so the Rockies have only one healthy body on their bench in this tight baseball game. Rafael Ynoa started the game at second. He's now a left fielder, and he'll bat first here in the 6th inning. Ynoa, Cargo, Arenado against Bolsinger. Ynoa, a line out and a ground ball to short. Rafael, a pinch hit double late in the ball game last night, and he would come around to score the Rockies' 7th run. Scored on a base hit by LeMahieu in the 9th.
Good gap in right center field.
Taking the whole way. It's 2-1. About Kendrick. He has a 6-pitch inning. That was last inning. He had a 4-pitch inning earlier. 2-2. Back to back. Good starts for Kyle Kendrick.
Yeah, and it was the 3rd and the 5th inning. Same 3 guys for both of those short pitch innings.
It's a curveball he tries to invite hitters to swing at that's just off the plate. Pitch by pitch, or pitch by inning. 3-2 on Raffy. If the Rockies can pull out a victory today at Dodger Stadium, it'll be only the 2nd time that they've won a 4-game series here at Dodger Stadium, and it's the 11th time they've played one. The only other time they won a series of 4 games here, that's high ball 4, was the first time they played a 4-game set at Dodger Stadium. It was August 9th through 12th, 1993, and they swept the Dodgers that summer. And listen to the guys they beat: Tom Candiotti,
knuckleballer;
Pedro Estacio, later became a Rocky, yes; Ramon Martinez.
Talk about a good fastball, good curveball.
And Oral Hershiser,
the Bulldog.
In fairness, Candiotti got a no decision, but the other 3 guys got hung with the loss. So they beat 4 quality guys in sweeping the Dodgers. Cargo shortened up to create traffic. That got the attention of Turner because he was way back. Curveball in there for a strike. Cargo twice has rolled over to second.
But no shift on Cargo.
And this ball is driven to left field, but it is gathered in there by Guerrero. Cargo did a better job staying back.
He ate up Guerrero last night, so Guerrero stood back and caught that one. Fans, remember to wear your Rockies jersey and show your pride on Rockies Jersey Day. It's Friday, May 22nd, and make it an all-new, majestic, cool base jersey. It's available at Rockies dugout stores. Majestic Jersey Day, Friday, May 22nd.
Strike 1 on Arenado. Ground ball to third, and he's hit by a pitch.
Yimi Garcia up for the Dodgers. They slid him back at more of a 6th or 7th inning role after blowing a couple saves, including one the other night against the Rockies.
This ball lined to deep left. It's got some hook on it. It is a foul ball.
Plenty of distance. Two or 3 feet Left to the foul pole.
Well, it's 1-2.
Hey, not quite the Carlton Fisk.
Force anything here in a one-run game, you have Eno at first. He stole 40 bases one year in the minor leagues. He can run a little bit.
I don't mind it. I mean, it's just one run. If you get a good jump, it's a curveball, breaking ball count. Buries it into the dirt.
Not going, and it's high. Probably a good thing because that would have been an ideal pitch to throw.
That was almost a pitch-out pitch.
Nolan went.
Don't get tossed. Just walk away. I know you're angry. Just walk, though. Don't have anybody else. Don't look back. He's just itching.
And Marty Foster needs to put the mask on it. Exactly.
Just walk away. Don't antagonize. Don't do anything. Just diffuse the situation. Again, it goes back to a point.
Why not get help on that one?
That's what I'm saying. That's what Nolan's saying. Just ask for help. Because you can't see the fly to the ball and the swing. It doesn't matter who's batting. I just don't like that call from the home plate umpire.
There's Rosario. It's a ball. Bolsinger with 6 strikeouts. The Rockies have struck out 63 times in the last 4.5 games.
I like Willeen taking that pitch because his first 2 at-bats, he swung at the first one both times.
On the ground, the third. Turner throws out Rosario. The Rockies had the leadoff man on, and Enoa can't do anything with it. In the middle of the 6th, they trail 1-0.
Charlie Huff was here, and I had to ask Charlie Huff about one of his former teammates and our colleague, of course, Jeff Houston.
I have a son that when we played together in Texas, my son loved him. I don't know why, but yeah, he was a fine young player and a great kid.
You know, Huey hit a home run off of you. He only hit 8 in his career.
Well, we can find a lot of people that hit a home run off me. I was on the elevator this morning, and there were 3 on there that hit them off me. So.
Charlie Huff's a funny guy, and Huey, I know you got a chance to catch up with him, and he did say that he wasn't so happy about that home run. You've told that story before.
Yeah, And the good thing, too, is his wife Sharon was at the ballpark yesterday. It was fun catching up with Charlie. Just a wonderful teammate and a good guy. And I recounted the story to his wife Sharon. She apologized, but she said, "Yeah, I did have to yell something at you, though." That Old Timers game was still, a highlight.
It was kind of neat, too, because Charlie Huff was the starting pitcher for the first game that the Marlins had in their franchise history. Renee Lashman was the manager, and Walt Weiss was playing short.
Well, you stick around that long, you're going to play with a lot of different guys. And, Charlie originally was a hard-throwing guy, and then they sent him back to the minor leagues and told him to learn how to throw a knuckleball.
Inside 2-1 on Rollins. Did you hit a knuckleball out?
Yes, I did. And I told the story before. I used Kevin Reimer's bat, his big bat, 35-inch, 33-ounce, just so I could swing it. And I knew when I connected with it that I got it.
Dropped the flap down, didn't you?
No, I didn't go Jeffrey Leonard on him.
3-1 on Rollins in a 1-0 game. Tommy Lasorda. Special day for him yesterday. He got introduced second to last. Koufax was the last man introduced, and then a leadoff walk.
And there was a guy at the hotel today getting autographs before guys got on the bus that had a tattoo of Sandy Koufax on his arm.
Wow. That's a deep tribute.
It was a very deep tribute, but it was also very well done.
I admire Sandy Koufax. I don't think I'm getting a tattoo of him anytime soon.
I wouldn't either. I'm just relaying some information.
Howie Kendrick, 0 for 1 and a walk, 3 walks and 3 hits. That's it, allowed by Kyle Kendrick. Rollins extends that lead a little bit. Right field, Cargo.
Number 23, Adrian Gonzalez.
Jimmy Rollins at first, he and Kyle Kendrick were teammates for all those years in Philadelphia. A reminder, the Phillies come into town for a 4-game set starting tomorrow night at Coors Field.
Swung on and missed. It's 0-1 on Gonzalez. Deep fly ball to center field, and then he singled with 2 outs in the 4th inning. Turner walked, and Yasmani Grandal with a base hit to score Gonzalez. It was on a 3-2 pitch. Adrian running, obviously, and that's the difference right now in the game. Rollins draws another throw.
Healthy lead at first.
And this is popped up and playable for Hunter. Boy, that's a big out. Anytime he can send Adrian Gonzalez back to the dugout, especially with people on base. 2 outs, and that'll bring up Justin Turner. The day after every Rockies victory, like today, get 50% off your online order at Papa John's. The promo code is ROXWIN at papajohns.com. Turner a single and a walk. Bottom of the 6th inning. See Rollins over there standing next to Willeen Rosario. Jimmy's about 5'8", and he's such a gifted player growing up in Oakland. But some scouts were reluctant to see him play because they heard he was tiny. And so they put out word, by the time he got to his senior year, they put out word that he was 5'9". In actuality, he was 5'6". So the Phillies actually finally sent in their cross-checker because they said, oh, he's 5'9", we can go look at him. And even though they said there's no way he's 5'9", he was so impressive when they watched him, they ended up drafting him in the second round.
But that's the beauty of baseball. You don't have to be this tall guy. You can be whatever size you are. Dustin Pedroia, you look at him. Doesn't matter. Prince Fielder.
Jose Altuve. I mean, there's different shapes and sizes. If you can play, you can play. Let them just go. Yep.
I hate the labels that scouts at times will put on players.
Good pickup by Hundley.
And it's an industry-wide.
Well, I think what happens is sometimes it's harder to put a really high grade on a player that you have concerns physically about. Here's the other notion I've never gotten. You know, a catcher, unless he's 225 pounds, will somehow wear down if they're just 180 pounds. Say.
It's tough to tell if a pitcher's going to be able to hold up just based on his size. Mark Pryor, prime example, 6'4", had good mechanics. His shoulder didn't last.
I think you have to go under the assumption all pitchers will get hurt. It's just a matter of when. I hate to say it that way because that's what we've seen. (2-0) on Turner, and now 3-0. This is where Kendrick got in trouble 2 innings ago. 2 outs, a runner at first. Everything seemed rather benign, and then the walk to Turner pushed a runner into scoring position, and the guy behind him swinging the bat exceptionally well in Yasmani Grandal.
Well, and then he fell back behind 3-2, and the runners took off.
Yeah, that kind of compounded the issue. He's got a green light, I bet, and it doesn't matter. So Turner again walks, and now you have Rollins at second base. Same situation as the 4th inning.
The 4th walk today for Kyle when he had 2 walks in just the previous 4 games combined.
Yep, none the last 2. Steve Foster for the first time will go out to the mound today. 4 walks, just 3 hits allowed.
Dollar Hot Dogs are back for the 2015 season, and the first 10,000 fans on Tuesday, May 19th will receive a coupon for one. Get your tickets now, a Hebrew National Dollar Hot Dog Day.
So the switch-hitting catcher, who is a good-sized catcher, 6'2", 225 pounds, Yasmani Grandal, from the #1 pick of the Cincinnati Reds out of the University of Miami. #12th pick in the draft in 2010.
Before I get any texts or calls from some good friends, some good scout friends of mine, I know it's an incredibly difficult job. It is as hard a job as to project and predict what somebody's going to do, you know, based on what they look like now and projecting 5 years down the road. That's the hardest part of the job. I get it. I've had to do it.
Especially in baseball, in that you're drafting guys and you're always projecting. You're not drafting a guy saying, okay, in next month he's going to be in the big leagues. It doesn't work that way. Where in the NBA, if you draft a guy in the first round, second round, a lot of those guys obviously don't make a team, but first round you expect they're going to be on your roster the very next autumn. In the NFL, guys drafted, you know, first, second, third round, you expect they're going to make your 53-man roster and be in the NFL next year. There's no minor leagues. Wow, it's 3-0, and all of a sudden Kyle Kendrick, like you said, normally one of his biggest strengths is he throws strikes. It's 3-0 on Grandal. And in this Dodger lineup, I mean, it's been the most productive in baseball so far. You got Ethier on deck. It's not like it becomes a Dodger light all of a sudden.
Ethier on deck. Ken Roberts is up for Colorado in their bullpen.
3-0. It's 3-1. See if Kyle can come all the way back here.
This is what it was in the 4th inning with runners at 1st and 2nd. McGraw hit the one hopper off the glove of Anoa at 2nd.
Runners going 3-2, ball 4. So Kendrick has walked the bases loaded. Now Walt has a decision. Do you allow him to face Ethier for a 3rd time or go get the left-hander Roberts? 2 outs in the 6th inning. And a 1-0 game. These are the toughest decisions a manager must make.
It's not the pitch count, it's the inability to throw strikes this inning. Roberts just got up.
And Ethier was on that. It's 0-1.
Well, I think the other thing for Kyle, too, is he had an easy ground ball for Ethier in his 1st at-bat and an easy fly ball to left field in his 2nd at-bat.
Outfield straight up and deep for Ethier, the 10-year veteran out of Arizona State. Here's the 0-1. And that ball lined to center. It'll stay up for Stubbs, and that'll end the inning and put down the threat. So Kendrick walks him loaded, but he gets Ethier to sky to center. It remains 1-0. We're off to the 7th. Sunday afternoon in Los Angeles, the Rockies trailing the Dodgers 1-0. They've won 2 of the first 3 of this 4-game set. Back home immediately after the game to open up a series against the Phillies. But first things first, they'd like to take 3 of 4 here in LA. And the Dodgers have taken the baseball from Mike Bolsinger, who went 6 shutout innings, and handed it to a guy the Rockies have hit pretty well in this series, Yimi Garcia.
Well, and he's had a pretty tough go of it on this homestand. He's given up some late inning home runs, and the home run that he gave up to Carlos Gonzalez was the big blow the other night, the 3-run shot to take the lead in the 11th inning.
So Hundley, Stubbs, Descalso.
Take that back. Carlos's home run wasn't the 11th, it was the 9th.
Walt's going to have an interesting decision because you have the pitcher spot coming up in the 7th inning potentially, the 4th man up, and you also have to look at the possibility of needing a pinch hitter in the 9th inning, and you have one guy left in Mike McHenry.
That's where the
one
pitcher,
healthy guy, right? And you hope that Tulowitzki's available. He worked out before the ball game.
That would tell you if he is. We saw Christian Friedrich getting loose in the bullpen, but that would tell you if Michael hits in the pitcher spot that Troy would be available to pinch hit in the 9th. If we see a pitcher, then I would say no.
Called strike, and it's 0-2.
Yeah, maybe Corey Dickerson's able to hit, and then you pinch run for him if he gets on.
Garcia strikes out Nick, and that'll bring up Stubbs. Drew a strikeout and a fly ball to right field.
Drew Stubbs.
Rockies had only one scoring threat really in this game. With one out in the 5th, Hundley was at 3rd after singling. Descalso was at 1st after his base hit. Kyle Kendrick tried to get a bunt down, failed to do that, and then Charlie Blackmon struck out, and this is an easy play, 2 outs. He was summarily ejected because he was upset with the 2nd strike, a called strike on a pitch that looked high and away.
Daniel Descalso.
Marty Foster ran him, so the Rockies had to move Noah from 2nd base to left field, and DJ LeMahieu came into the ball game.
That was Charlie's first major league ejection.
How many times did you get tossed?
1. Dale Ford arguing balls and strikes. There's still a ball to this day.
Many years later, still off the plate.
He's playing for Milwaukee against the White Sox, Comiskey Park.
You don't remember much about it, though,
No,
do you?
I don't. He was playing 2nd base that day.
He's still got a little bit of the red bleed.
Just a little bit.
Descalso's 2 for 2. He has 2 of the Rockies' 3 knocks.
That's why I understand Charlie's frustration.
For me, and listen, these guys do a great job. They're right about 98% of the time, so I don't want to pile on the umpires. But what made it glaring to me is that it's one thing if Grandal had set up there.
Yes.
He set up inside, so it was a miss in terms of location. And then from a ball strike standpoint, it also was a miss. And usually you're not going to get that kind of pitch if the catcher has to move like he did.
Inside, reaches 6 or 8 inches across his body. And then the 3rd strike. Charlie's hot.
One, 2, and that's pulled foul.
And I know people are probably sitting at home going, well, you know, your bench is short. You can't do that to your teammates at that moment. That's the last thing you're thinking about.
You know, I love that. It's so easy to sit there and when you're not emotionally involved, everybody's had that moment where they see a blue streak, and that's all you're seeing at that point in time. Garcia strikes at Descalso, and It's a 1-2-3 seventh for Yimi Garcia. Stretch time at Dodger Stadium. We've had one run. That's it. Dodgers lead it 1-0. On Root Sports is brought to you by Buick. 5 expectation-shattering models. Experience the new Buick during the Buick Spring Sales event. By Tavern Downtown. Visit Tavern Downtown after Rockies home games and get 2-for-1 draft beers with your same-day ticket. By GMC, precision matters. And by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. Just a few minutes from downtown Los Angeles lies Dodger Stadium. Look in the city. 1-0 LA. Alex Guerrero will be first here in the 7th inning. Along with Jeff Houston and Mark Stout, I'm Drew Goodman. Kyle Kendrick will continue on. He's allowed that 1 run on 3 hits. He's walked an uncharacteristic 5 in the game. And he strikes out Guerrero, throws Guerrero. First pitch strike. It's hard to strike out on 1 pitch. Never been done before.
Nope. 90th pitch for Kyle.
Scott Van Slyke's in the on-deck circle. 8-9-1 in the Dodger order. And that's a strike. Crowd of 44,990. Good win for Asheville today.
We're back on the winning track.
This is popped up in the infield. Descalso calls off LeMahieu, 1 out.
Scott Van Slyke, as you told us about a moment ago, 2 for 5 pinch hitting.
Surprised he only has 5 pinch hitting.
He's been playing a lot more than what they thought he would coming out of spring training with Puig and Jock Peterson, Carl Crawford, Andre Ethier.
Alex Guerrero has the most. He has 11 pinch hit at bats, including 2 home runs. This ball is toward the corner and it goes foul.
It's good to see Kyle going into the 7th inning. Jordan Lyles is on schedule to make his start tomorrow, but his hand there's still some swelling there. But his bullpen was good, but you still never know until he gets out onto the mound and he starts throwing in a competitive environment.
I think that's one of the most difficult things, whether it be rehabbing or doing training exercises, trying to replicate playing the game of baseball at the speed that you play it when the game's on.
That's the key, the speed.
0-2. Swung on and missed. Van Slyke down. And Kyle Kendrick 2 quick outs in the 7th.
That fastball up to 91 miles an hour. Hardy swing from Van Slyke. That's the first strikeout today for Kyle.
Jock Peterson 0 for 3. The Dodgers and Don Mattingly, after seeing Jansen one time in a non-save role, non-ninth inning role, they said, all right, we've seen enough. He struck out 4 Rockies the other day in that first appearance. He's back to the 9th inning because Chris Hatcher is up throwing for Los Angeles.
And that's why we saw Yimi Garcia last inning.
Puts a little more pressure on this Rockies offense in the 8th inning.
In the top half of the 7th inning, not last inning, top half of this inning.
1-1 on Peterson. Ball pulled to DJ, comes up with it, and he hits Kendrick.
Oh,
well done. That's a terrific play by LeMahieu for many reasons. One being Rosario trying to get to the baseball, dove right in front of him. No,
it's like a screen.
Yeah, Willeen had to go for the baseball also, and DJ comes up with it, and Kendrick got over there in plenty of time. Grandal has driven in the only run in this game, a 2-out single back in the 4th inning. Daniel Descalso a couple hits today. Charlie Blackmon was ejected in the 5th inning. Arguing with home plate umpire Marty Foster after striking out. So here we are in the 8th. Chris Hatcher's now on the mound. Andy Van Slyke stays in the ballgame for Guerrero in left. And the Rockies, with the pitcher spot up, will go to Mr. Dickerson. And you were worried, and we all were, that Corey wouldn't be available today. He was really hobbling around this morning, but he's going to swing the bat here in the 8th inning against Hatcher.
And I still think if he gets on, we'll probably see Chad Bettis run for him. For Corey, going up against Hatcher is a pretty hard thrower. See that first pitch at 96 miles an hour. A little bit of a rough start to the season, but lately they're throwing much better.
I want to know on Corey. Big gap in right center field. I mean, you could land a 747 between where Peterson is and Ethier.
Oh, with the hard right-handed pitcher with some tail on his fastball, left-handed hitter, they think he's going to be late. And that's why they're playing him in the off gap.
Two. LeMahieu on deck. It'll be the first AB for DJ. Rockies yesterday scored 7 runs for just the 3rd time this year. And only the 2nd time in a victory. The only other time was when they won 10-0 opening day at Miller Park in Milwaukee. Unfortunately, they backed that up with just 3 hits and have not crossed home plate through 7+ innings this afternoon.
Some of the offensive woes, that's going to be at the top of the list, those lack of runs.
Well, the Rockies now, they have played on average about 3 games less than everybody else because of the rainouts in the National League. But they entered play today 14th in the National League in runs scored. Only the Phillies have scored fewer runs. I've never said that. Nobody's ever said that with the Rockies.
Not about the Rockies offense.
Foul ground. Turner makes the catch, and Dickerson is retired.
Well, first 10,000 fans through the gates next Sunday will receive a mullet hat sponsored by Jack Links. Sunday, May 24th. And then Dante Bichette sporting the mullet cap.
Frazier put it on the other day.
I saw that.
It frightened me.
I saw that one. Did he take that back to Tulsa with him?
Probably. Swung on and missed. 0-1 on LeMahieu. Dodgers lead baseball in strikeout to walk ratio. Not that far under 4-1.
Well, power arms, but they also control the power.
8 strikeouts in the game this afternoon. 6 by Bolsinger, who's not a power guy. 2 by Yimi Garcia, who is a power guy in the bullpen.
Pitching coach Rick Honeycutt's one of the longest tenured guys. There's a couple other guys that have been with their organization or their clubs longer, but when you think about how long Rick's been here.
Just missed. Hatcher kicking dirt. 1-2. catcher out of the University of North Carolina, Wilmington, 30-year-old. 1-2 on DJ.
He just keeps pumping that hard fastball.
LA. 1 run, 3 hits for LA. No runs, 3 hits for the Rockies. We're in the 8th. And it's out of play. Now gets the count even at 2-2. Enoa's on deck. Cargo behind Enoa.
DJ's seen his best stuff. I've seen the fastball and the slider.
Rockies have Boone Logan up. Strike 3. Who wants tacos? Fans follow at Root Sports _RM on Twitter to receive alerts for the Rockies taco special when the Rockies score 7 or more in a ball game. Enoa 0 for 2. He walked in the 6th inning. And the only time the Rockies had multiple runners on. 1st and 3rd with 1 out in the 5th. Kendrick couldn't get a bunt down, and that's when Blackman struck out. That led to his ejection.
They had the leadoff batter on in the 3rd, the 5th, and the 6th. He couldn't do anything with it.
On the former Dodger farmhand, Rafael Enoa. Inside. Shut out only 1 time this year, and it came at Dodger Stadium. And the now injured Brandon McCarthy beat them 7-0 back on April 19th in a game Eddie Butler started. 2-2. Strike 3, according to Marty Foster. And now it's Enoa's turn to be upset with Foster. 2 more strikeouts in the inning. The Rockies. Last base runner was Enoa back in the 6th inning, a leadoff walk. 9 straight retired by LA. It's 1-0, middle of 8. Today's Game Changer brought to you by T-Mobile. Kyle Kendrick pitched well, 7 innings. He allowed just 1 run on 3 hits. But that's unfortunately the difference in the game right now. Grandal had a base hit with 2 outs to score the only run. Second real solid outing for Kendrick. See if the Rockies can pull off the win late. Boone Logan will take over. 15th appearance for Boone. Much better against lefties than righties. Jimmy Rollins, a switch hitter, will flip over to the right side. Jimmy's 0 for 2 and a walk. Howie Kendrick, Adrian Gonzalez, the next 2 against Logan here in the bottom of the 8th.
Second appearance for Boone in this Dodgers series. First one, clean inning, 0 runs allowed, 2 strikeouts. Jimmy Rollins on the year, 240, hitting right-handed.
Well, here's the pitch, the latest pitch in question from the Rockies' perspective. It looks up and it looks in, and it was perhaps both, yet it was called strike 3 by Marty Foster. 1-2.
Well, and if you're wondering at home, again, they get a report the next day in their inbox or in an email what the percentage was as far as correct calls, correct strikes, balls, whatever it is. And somewhere, what are they looking for? Somewhere in the neighborhood of 93, 94%?
That's what we've been told.
So they do give them an allowance. But what they say is if you're continually missing in the same spot, then we need to possibly address it. Are you setting up wrong? Just like with a player, if you're missing a pitch, you need to make an adjustment mechanically.
One and 2 on Rollins. And this little pop-up shallow right, and DJ got a good break on it, makes the catch. Howie Kendrick will be next. During the commercial break, it was announced here in front of nearly 45,000 people that the Clippers lost Game 7 down in Houston to the Rockets by 13. The Rockets will move on and take on Golden State in the Western Conference Finals of the NBA playoffs. And we were told to expect this, that a lot of the crowd cheered. This is more of a Laker crowd. I don't know if it has to do with Magic Johnson's ownership interest or what, but you know, the Clippers downtrodden for so many years. The Lakers now the more hapless bunch of the 2 teams, and yet a lot of people relish the fact that the Clippers lost.
And you know how they started it? They showed a fan in the stands wearing a Clippers jersey. So even before they announced it, they were booing. The guy said, I just want to come to the game. I just want to enjoy a game in my Clippers shirt. He gets singled out.
I understand it to a certain degree. Having grown up in New York, most people don't share allegiances. In other words, you're either a Yankee fan or a Met fan. You're either a Giant fan or a Jet fan. And you usually loathe the other team. It's 3-0 on Howie Kendrick. You know you have a real casual fan when they say, I root for both teams.
You can't root for both.
You played in Chicago. There's no such thing as a Cubs and a White Sox fan.
You're either one or the other.
Three and 2. So the Rockies will see Kenley Jansen in the top of the 9th. They'll have Cargo, Arenado, Rosario, 3, 4, and 5. White Sox, that's where Boone Logan came to stardom in the big leagues. An upper 90s fastball. Sliders fouled off.
Left there, went to New York. Speaking of New York, Joe Girardi has that club in first place in the AL East.
Many people thought they may be short on the mound. We'll see how the season plays out. A ton of baseball left.
They were shut out today by Kansas City.
Kansas City's kind of picked up where they left off last year. 3-2. Swung on and missed. Boone Logan strikes out Kendrick for the second out of the eighth. Time for our CenturyLink link to what's next. Here's the upcoming schedule next 3 weeks. Rockies home for 8 because the Giants will play a twin bill on Saturday. The Phillies precede the Giants to town. And then the first visit to the Midwest and the East. Cincinnati for 3, day off in Philadelphia. And then a 3-game set against the Phils. It's back home. The Dodgers are in, and the Marlins are in.
Who will be managing the Marlins?
Supposedly we'll find out tomorrow. Oh, 0-1 on Adrian Gonzalez.
I wonder if it'll be the former Dodger, Brett Butler, who's the third base coach for the Marlins.
I think that's a real possibility.
I do too.
Brett might manage quite a bit in the minor leagues. Two balls and a strike. Marlins, after nearly being no-hit today, fell to 6 games beneath 500, 16-22. Turner on deck. 3-1 count on Adrian Gonzalez. And Logan loses the big lefty, so Turner will come up. And that's the 6th walk allowed by the Rockies today.
Turner.
Ground ball to second. DJ will flip to Descalso to end the inning. So we'll go to the 9th inning. The Rockies down just a run. We'll try to rally against Kenley Jansen. Middle of the order due up. For 4 on Sunday so far. They'll try to rally against Kenley Jansen. The Toyota postgame show will immediately follow that rally. And for details, here's Mark Stout. Mark?
All right, Drew, what we have on tap? Kyling it in. Kyle Kendrick with 7 strong innings, back-to-back good starts. We'll talk about his outing today. And Blackman and Blue, Charlie gets run by Blue, the ump. Gets kicked out of this game. We'll get to hopefully an on-field interview with Cargo and hear from Walt. That is what's coming up on the Toyota postgame show. Let's go back to Drew and Jeff, guys.
Mark, we appreciate it. Jansen had his first appearance 2 days ago, recovering from the foot injury. He had 5 rehab assignments, and he was dominant in his first appearance Friday night because of a pass ball on Yasmani Grandal. He actually faced 4 Rockies. He struck them all out.
Well, of the 14 pitches, 13 were for strikes, and with that injury, not being able to come out of spring training, the last save opportunity he had was Game 2 of the NLDS back on October 4th of last year.
And Sergio Santos, who gave up 5 runs yesterday, also struck out 4 in an inning. That was the first time in the history of the game that the same team in back-to-back ball games had a pitcher strike out 4 in an inning. But that's yesterday's news. Right now, first and foremost on the minds of that Rockies dugout is to see a rally here. Gonzalez, 2 for 8 lifetime against Jansen. He's 0 for 3 this afternoon. He's grounded out twice and hit a deep drive to left field. That misses ball 1. Catcher out of Curacao, Kenley Jansen.
I was going to say, the one thing we haven't seen, though, is the real explosive fastball. I'm talking about the 96, 97s.
Yeah, we did not see that the other day. And that pitch is at 89, and Marco was right on it.
Yeah.
Center cut.
Kind of like the one Willeen would like to have back from a couple nights ago against Nicasio. You foul those straight back, and you still see those the next day or that night in your sleep.
How many times did you say when you play the hurt from so many of your brethren? You can only hope for 1 real good pitch to hit per at bat. You don't often get 2.
And if it's a mistake, you better not miss it.
One it up. And that mislocation, that was about belt high.
But that's 2 pitches in this at bat for Cargo. That's thigh high and just below the belt high. Pitches 2 and 4.
Home runs in the series for Gonzalez. Outfield shifted toward left. Infield straight up. Nolan's on deck. 1 and 2 on Cargo. And this is fouled off.
Close, but we've seen some that have been a little closer to the plate called strikes.
Two and 2. This is playable. Turner comes down the line and makes the catch. 1 out.
Nolan Arenado.
Arenado will take his turn. Nolan went deep last night.
His home run last night. Just one more peek at this. And that was in the 8th inning to help extend the lead. Nolan 1 for 3 career against Kinley.
Rosario's on deck. And this will pop up, an easy play for Kendrick. And the Rockies are down to their last out.
We do have a couple guys down in the bullpen just in case, depending on where it gets tied up. Or you go ahead. You got Christian Friedrich from the left side, John Axford on the right side. And speaking of John Axford, if you haven't had a chance, you need to go read Patrick Saunders' piece in the Denver Post today about John and his family and Jameson. A wonderful piece by Patrick.
Rosario 1 for 5 against Jansen. The one is a home run. 1-0 Dodgers. Two-strike count.
This pitch will tell you how Kinley's feeling if he goes with the fastball.
He did. And he dialed up 96, and he struck out Rosario to end the ball game. And the Dodgers shut out the Rockies 1-0. Just the second time Colorado has been shut out this year. The other time came at Dodger Stadium in mid-April. Mike Bolsinger gets the victory. He's 2-0. And Kyle Kendrick takes the loss. He's 1-5. 1-0 the final. The Dodgers win it with 3 hits. The Rockies limited to 3 hits. And the Rockies and Dodgers split this 4-game set. Our Jimmy John's delivery of the game. Mike Bolsinger, not overwhelming, but he struck out 6, walked just 2. And the Rockies put together only one legitimate threat against the University of Arkansas product. The Rockies fall to 13-21. They'll head home to take on the Phillies. The Dodgers improve to an NL West 24-13. When we come back, stick around for the Toyota post-game show from here at Dodger Stadium. The Dodgers win it 1-0 this afternoon over the Rockies.